Crypto market update for Tuesday, July 20th. This is Mr. A, and the market's doing what I expect to do for the past 7 days. I'm getting close to where I thought it would go. So without further ado, we're going to share some charts. So today the format's going to be a little different. I'm going to go through Bitcoin and Monero, and then I'm going to go through in detail through all my different charts that I have up and running all the time. And then finally, we're going to finish with Dero and Pirate Chain. So here we go. This is our Bitcoin chart on the daily, and we're now doing a TDA into a green box. This is very good. This is a very good sign. I was hoping for perfection, and this is very perfect. If we can get a 9, it makes even lower low, and we can buy, that's even better. But right now, this is looking really good on the daily. I like what's going on. For the very least, a rally into the resistance. I'm not saying it's a full-blown reversal yet, but at least could be a bottom. And then the bottom will get tested later. But for now, we should be buying this area. If you haven't bought any yet, at least scale in below 30, just in case.
We're talking about 29.6.
This is the EMA flow, just to have an idea of what's going on with that view. This is that new indicator I've been playing with. And you can see here that we're on our TDA with our iFish buy signal. It is bright green, saying it's time to start considering buying. It hasn't actually flashed the buy signal itself. It's just warning it's time to buy. It will probably happen tomorrow. And when iFish and TD both say buy at the same time, that is a very low risk, high reward buy. So tomorrow is probably the time to start adding more, especially if we make a lower low. You can see here from these bands that the price is actually pretty squeezed. And right now they don't show much room below. We have some possibility of hitting 28.8 and below that 27.4 on the daily. So if we make into these zones here, definitely start adding more. There's no question. This is a good place to be doing so. And everything else looks ready to pump. So let's see what happens. This is the Bitcoin 4-hour chart with MSR, which is what we use for setting up our shorter-term trades. You see on the 4-hour, we just had almost a 9. It's probably going to pump a little bit up for the rest of the day and then try down again. The sky below is darker, so it's going to make it harder for the bears to push it down. This is bottom out here. iFish is trying to turn around and flash a buy, but hasn't done so yet. And we have these areas below here for buying, and these areas above here for selling. So here is the new way of checking these things out. Here are your buy orders according to MSR. And you can pause the video and take these values. I'm not going to repeat them all the time, but today you can see our first target for buying will be 28,419. Second target below will be 27,271. Next one below that, 25,985. And finally, 23,884. And above, we have 32,784 in target 2, 35,180, target 3, 42,953, and target 4, 46,90. These targets are all for shorter-term traders. The long-term investors should continue to accumulate the lower levels. So these buy orders here are great places to scale in. The lower we go, the more we buy. So next, we're going to go to Monero. And this is the Monero to Bitcoin 4-hour chart. And back a couple weeks ago, it was actually, June, almost a month ago, we flipped into a no trend. Here's the blue marker saying no trend. And we've been going sideways, doing nothing, which was pretty much a no trade zone for me, and I would not really touch that. And now, yesterday, we flipped into a bear trend. So as of right now, this indicator was designed for the 4-hour chart mainly. It's flipped into a bear trend from Monero to Bitcoin. We're going to trade it accordingly as if it was a bear trend. So now we have the ocean, the beach above the price, and then the sky below. And these are open skies for lower prices. And we're moving up on the TD count right here. I guess Bitcoin's going down a bit and Monero's staying stronger. So now in our green 3, we're going to move into resistances, and we're going to assume this is a bear trend, so they're going to be stronger. And we'll use that to exit positions that we buy. So as of right now, these are Monero to Bitcoin buy and sell order targets for the 4-hour MSR. And again, this is for shorter term traders who want to play the shorter term time frames. Long-term investors should use these values to accumulate at the lower levels. I'm not going to go through every single value here. Just pause the video, take them, and enter them into your buy and sell orders. And hopefully this helps you guys a lot more than me just saying it out loud in the videos. Next, we have Monero to USD. This is the 4-hour MSR again. We're using that to trade the trend. This is also in a bear trend. What we can see is the clear skies below are actually no longer so clear. So the bears are going to have some trouble pushing this down from here. And above we have the beach, the ocean, and our upper targets. And iFish is actually flashing a buy signal right here. So when we see this flashing a buy signal
He's talking down there.
near 9, it's probably time to start
So about 180.
buying a little bit
185.
and scale in. And if we make some lower lows, these are targets below. And those are our targets above, and you can see them here listed.
There you go.
Right below we have 180, and then right below that 170, and then 161 and 146. And if you're playing this in the shorter term, your sell orders are 206, 226, 237, and 289. And again, longer term investors should use the lower targets to accumulate for the longer term, and then hold until we break all-time highs. Well, this is for Bitcoin Monero. Now we're going to go through the rest of my Bitcoin charts so we can have a look, and then we'll finish off with the other alts. So right here we have our Ichimoku cloud, and I have TD sequential on it. We can see we're going to a 9 with iFish flashing. Time to start thinking about buying. It's not the actual buy signal yet. Hopefully by tomorrow. And we can see there's a pink and green lines called the Tenkan and Kijun lines are getting closer. And if they cross on the buy and we pump from here, this is a buy signal for this indicator. We're probably going to pump higher and into the red cloud and then get rejected because the cloud is red. And we can see here we have a 39 to 46 range currently inside the cloud. So definitely buy this dip if you're playing it short term. We can expect if we do get a pump and a reversal, we're going to go into this area and get rejected the first time around. So this is what the cloud is telling us. And we can see the dollar flow for the past 3 days has actually gone negative. So the sellers are kind of winning right now. It's not a massive drop by any means. So I still consider this 9 to be a buy, or hopefully at least a very minimal bounce into this area before we bottom out for the summer. This is my Heiken Ashi chart, and it's on the 2-day time frame, and I call it my low noise chart. And you can see here we're actually also in a TD8 going into a 9 in the next couple of days. This candle will close tomorrow. So that's when we'll get our 9. It's also starting tomorrow. Everything here is bottom out. It's all recharged and ready to go. So when we finally do get a bottom reverse, there's a lot of room for all these indicators to move up and at least test the resistances we're talking about in the $40,000 range at least. Next, we have our inverse Fisher stop and return on the daily. This is one that I watch a lot and I discuss with Mr. W quite often. And now we've had 2 closes below the black line. So the way this works is if we have 2 closes below and this trend continues, we can expect to visit the lower levels. So right now, showing is the visit to 25,265 is in the cards. So those buy orders below might get filled. Don't buy it all in here. Is it going to happen tomorrow down here? I don't know, probably not. But if it does, it's definitely a buyable zone. And below that, we have our 22s, which is a very key area I've been talking about. 22,000 is going to be a very key area for Bitcoin if we get down to the lower levels. And
So he's talking 30 to
I'll discuss
22.
why in the next few charts. Another nice thing is the hash ribbons. Feels like the miners are turning back on after the moves out of China. And we started to get these green circles here telling us that this is starting to reverse.
Time constraints. I want to get some of the Dero on this at the end. So I'm going to skip ahead.
From the pirate chain.
Arr.
This is the pirate chain chart.
ARR.
Riding the top of this buy zone OTE here. And the squeeze momentum is actually just flipped positive today. This is kind of the moment of truth for this indicator. We either continue upwards and have a pump, or it's going to flatten out and continue down again. The money flow is showing the sellers are still slowing down, so buyers are stepping in. But Fisher Transform is peaked out and wants to probably visit the downside. And the RSI is still under 50, which means it's still a bearish stance. So we're still in the Bollinger Bands. We actually moved above the center again. And we have some resistance above in the top of the band. And then finally the 120-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. So if we do pump from here, there's going to be some resistance here before the bottom gets tested. If we get rejected soon and this SAR flips to negative, we're going to visit and test the bottom, which also happens to be the bottom of the Bollinger Band. And I have some buy levels for our BTC here. Here they are. You can pause the video and take them and put them in. Shorter term players can also sell those zones. You have quite a bit of a range happening here. And longer term investors should definitely use the lower levels here to acquire more at those levels and scale in. So the lower we go, the more you buy and hold for the long term. Next, we have the pirate chain to US dollar. And it's a little bit different than the Bitcoin. It seems to be holding up a little stronger. And right now, we actually are at $2. We dipped just a little bit below it, so that was time to start buying a little bit. The unfortunate part is that we have flipped this parabolic start to bearish. We got rejected on the middle Bollinger Band. So it looks like we're going to visit lower levels. And the sellers are stepping in again a little harder. And the Fisher's turning. So I think a visit to the bottom in the USD pair is coming. And bottom of the Bollinger Band is definitely a place to start scaling in. That's a 186 or so. And if we were to pump, this resistance here is going to be pretty extreme at 246. And then at the 50-day moving average and 128-day moving average. So it's going to take more time for R to heal from all this. Here are our buy and sell levels for short-term players. Longer-term investors should use these to accumulate lower. So right below is we have a $1.86 and then $1.66. And if Bitcoin does capitulate, we're going to get the 156, 143 areas as buy areas. And short-term players can sell at 245, 331, and 370. Next, we have Dero to Bitcoin.
Yay.
And it's still riding inside a green box, and it's near the bottom of it, which is nice. So it's definitely a place to start buying. And like I said, it's looking better than most coins out there. The momentum is trending up. The sellers are slowing down. The indicators are recharged and look like they're ready to move up. The RSI is still in bearish stance. It could pump. If it does pump, we're going to flip the parabolic start to the bottom and visit some higher levels. And the higher levels are up here in the zone. And they're displayed in our Dero to, whoop. Missing some things here. There we go. The Dero to Bitcoin buy orders are right here, and sell orders are right here. So make use of those. And if it does pump, that's the area I was talking about on the chart over here. This zone here is where the pump would end and the bears would step in. So those are your higher targets on the sell order. So keep that in mind for the short-term players who are trading this. Otherwise, your investors should accumulate at these levels. The lower levels are actually pretty extreme lower levels. I'm not sure if that would happen. If they did, definitely you can go heavier on it. But otherwise, use these levels here to accumulate for the long term.
Okay, fellow traders and golfers and
here's the Dero to
amigos.
USD chart.
Okay, I need it on the dollar. Sorry, I gotta cut.
And still
cut
riding
this off
the
quick.
green box.
Dude.
And SAR is still bearish, but it could pump and flip soon. And if we're to do that, that would be great. And we'll get a pump into some higher levels I'll discuss on the Bitcoin pair. But otherwise, the plan remains buy around the $5 area. It looks pretty strong. We're going to stick with that plan. If we're to drop below, we have the 467 zone here to buy, and finally 386 as our other buy zone. Here's the WOW chart.
Okay, good trading. See you, boys.
Hasn't done much since we last